Of the Interim Joint Budget Review Subcommittee on Justice and Judiciary for the 2024 interim. If we could call this meeting to order and call roll.
Senator Nemes. Senator Schickel. Senator Webb. Representative Brown. Representative Decker, Representative Kulkarni, Representative Sharp,
Present.
Senator Mays-Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Representative Bowling, Representative Bray, Representative Petrie, Representative Elliott, Co-Chair Funky Fromeyer,
Present.
Chair Flannery.
Present. I believe we have minutes that we need to adopt. Do I have a motion on that?
So move.
Second? All right, they will be adopted. Looks like today we have the Department of Corrections. They're going to provide an update and overview of the adult correctional facilities with some specific updates. And I believe any meeting materials were posted earlier online. If you all, looks like you're at the table, if you'd like to proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm Alan Watt with the Capital Construction Management Branch. I'm going to do a brief overview of the DOC construction projects that we have at our various facilities. DOC oversees 14 state prisons with 629 physical structures across 8,600 acres in 10 counties. Of these, 12 facilities are owned and operated by the Commonwealth. During the 2023-2024 capital planning process, it was determined that establishing an institutional physical plant mapping system would be beneficial for the 12 state prisons to establish an age, condition, and needs-based assessment of critical prison infrastructure components. The system Archibus has been implemented at the institutional level to automate the preventative maintenance system, decrease energy maintenance cost, and extend the life of the equipment and overall infrastructure. Along with this data, it has provided mapping for a more predictable estimate of needed capital funding in the future. During the last two biennial budgets, DOC received a significant increase in capital construction funding. As a result of this generous, timely, and vital increase to the capital project funding, DOC was able to commission projects which employ expert consultants to review age and condition of facilities, rank by priority, and suggest estimated cost of vital infrastructure repairs. The two projects were specifically divided into the mechanical, which is HVAC, electrical and plumbing studies, and roofing assessments. Using funds from the 22-24 maintenance pools as previously discussed, DOC undertook a statewide in-depth study which was completed in May 2024 for our MEP studies. The study identified 455 items that are in need of repair, replacement, or upgrades as categorized by the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing sections. It also broke these into categories outlining estimated repair, replacement, upgrade cost, and prioritizing the repair sequence based on the immediate repairs needed within the first year, then the next 3 years, and 5 years. In another effort that began in 22-24 biennium was a statewide in-depth assessment of the roofing systems. The analysis was completed in December 2023 and identified 64 roofs that are in need of replacement. It was recommended that the roofs be reassessed every 2 years for additional replacements, as many have surpassed their expected life expectancy but are still in a current serviceable state. As far as our major construction projects, the Kentucky State Reformatory Correctional Medical Facility replacement, current spending is at $256 million. The construction of the 373 bed facility is currently at 40%, with all foundations complete. 40% of the structures are under roof. Substantial, as you were, final completion is scheduled for March 2026. The Little Sandy Correctional Complex Phase B expansion, current spending at $111 million. The construction of the two dormitories totaling 832 beds is currently at 55%, with both buildings currently under roof and plumbing and electrical installation at 60%. Final completion for this project is scheduled for March 2025. As far as funding updates of our appropriated capital projects, our previous maintenance pool of 22-24 We received $44 million. This funded 85 projects across the DOC, encompassing the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing and roofing projects as previously discussed. For Maintenance Pool 2025, we received $20 million. Funding is already allocated for 8 projects encompassing the same mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and roofing projects. We also have various water tower repairs at $4.2 million. This is to repair the KSP water towers that is pending to go out for bid right now, and the EKCC water repair towers there. Making both of these projects possible was the additional allotment of $2.1 million. Generator replacement, reauthorization, and reallocation, $7.3 million. This is replacing generators at Green River Correctional Complex, the Luther Luckett Correctional Complex, and the Kentucky Correctional Institute for Women. KSP Security Fence Addition, totaling $3.6 million. This project was able to be awarded based to the additional funds appropriated from the 24-26 budget and is now currently going out to bid. There are 7 new line item projects that are in the process of starting. The two most notable projects are at the Eastern Kentucky Correctional Complex for the facade and structure repairs, as well as the replacement for the HVAC system at the entire complex. The design of a new Level 4 security prison. Funding for the design for the new Level 4 security prison at Eastern Kentucky, or to be located in Eastern Kentucky, has been allocated, and the Department of Engineering, Contracting, and Administration is currently working with DOC on requesting a proposal document, which is basically the design firm that's going to do this, including information on the selection committee to award the design contract. We anticipate that the RFP for design will be put out within the next 1 to 2 months. The environmental impact and feasibility study for the Kentucky State Reformatory. As far as that study, the Department of Corrections has completed their portion of that. And that completes my kind of brief over. I do have notes on the various other facilities if need be. Are there any questions?
Any questions? I believe I have a couple of, I guess the first, you talked about the design of the Level 4 Eastern Kentucky prison. Could you give a little more info on the size, capacity, staffing, what Level 4 means, and also what facility it is intended to replace?
A Level 4 prison, basically, and I should introduce myself. I'm Scott Jordan. I'm the Deputy Commissioner of the Department over Adult Institutions. Level 4 prison basically can house everything up to maximum security inmates. So it is our highest level prison. As far as what that prison is designed to replace, we as the department were not aware that we were replacing any prison with it. At this juncture, I could not answer what it was designed to replace. This all kind of hit us recently as well, that it was in the works.
Are any of the facilities in Oldham County or around Oldham County, have they went offline, or are they going offline, or what's the current status of
The
those?
Kentucky State Reformatory is going offline. As Alan mentioned, the expansion of Little Sandy and the construction in Lexington of the new medical facility will house those inmates.
Okay. Any details? I believe there's been some mention about a potential future facility in Western Kentucky. Any updates or information on that potential facility?
We did not have anything on that as of yet. The 2 projects currently are the Little Sandy expansion and the medical facility in Lexington.
I guess last question I have, do you foresee any additional needs for the capital project that may involve medical services or any other projects at this time?
It is very fluid, and we're dealing with, obviously we're dealing with very old infrastructure that at most of our places, but at this current time, as Alan has pointed out, we've pretty well got our hands full with everything that we're doing, and we're holding steady pretty well.
And Just to add into that, basically the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing studies that were done, basically that's given us our pathway, so to speak, for the 466 items identified in that. So that way we can start scheduling and get those next things into the capital planning budget.
I believe Senator Funky Fromeyer has a question.
Thank you, Alan, for the detailed list. Can you give us an understanding, as that's been evaluated, what are the costs associated with those projects?
As far as the 466 items identified, current estimated cost, and granted that was at the time the study was completed, is around $336 million. As far as the breakdown for each individual year, the immediate repairs, there were 202 of those, that's $239 million. The 3-year repair range was 84 projects at $27 million, and then the remaining 165 projects was at $60 million. That's over the next 5 years.
And with those breakdowns, with the 1 year, the 3 year, the 5 year, what do you have at your fingertips to begin applying towards these projects?
Currently, right now, ma'am, with the maintenance pools for what was awarded, our current balance is setting at approximately $10 million. So basically, this is an entire shortfall to complete every one of those. That's the reason I was saying it will have to go into the capital planning board.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Bray looks like he has a question. He just doesn't want to raise his hand.
No, I'm all good. You're all good. I'm all good.
Senator Shekel has a question.
More of a couple comments, Mr. Chairman, if I may have some leeway. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, as you know, Mr. Chairman, corrections is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. I thought the meeting was at 9 o'clock, so I showed up a little earlier and got a chance to have a chat with Deputy Commissioner Jordan, and I really enjoyed that chat. I'm happy to see that people like Scott Jordan are being appointed Deputy Commissioner, people that have long experience in long practical experience in adult institutions like he does. I think that's something that we need here in Frankfort, so I'm happy to see that. The other thing that I want to say, since this is a subcommittee, I believe, on the budget, is that we hear a lot during the session about how much corrections cost, and that we're spending way too much money on corrections, and if we weren't spending all this money on corrections, we could feed the hungry and clothe the naked and educate everyone much better. But the fact of the matter is, and I like to say this every chance I get, that only 5% of our total budget, maybe 6%, it actually flutters between 4 and 6% of our total budget, depending on what year you're in, is spent on corrections. And if you look at the Kentucky Constitution, corrections and prisons is mentioned specifically as a governmental responsibility. We spend way more money on other things that are not constitutional responsibilities than we do on corrections. So I just think it's important that as we move forward, we realize that. And then lastly, I do have a question, and that is, tell us about the facility that you're building right out here off the expressway. I know that some beautiful farmland there that's owned by the Department of Corrections. A lot of people aren't aware of that, but there's some construction going on there. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. That is going to be the replacement for the Kentucky State Reformatory Medical Facility. It is being completely relocated up there. It will be a standalone facility for the 383 inmates that will be housed there. That is a complete in-house medical facility, dining facility. It is 100% self-contained. Once again, that's due to open up here spring of 2026. With that being said, though, it's kind of contingent on that being open before the Kentucky State Reformatory can be vacated.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions or comments from committee members? Gentlemen, you all have anything else?
No, Mr. Chairman.
There's nothing. I think that's the only topic on the agenda today. You know when our next meeting is?
September 18th.
Okay. I believe our next meeting is September 18th, and will be chaired by my colleague, Senator Funky Fromeyer. If there's no other questions or comments, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.